man. Well, first of all, happy Bitcoin ETF Day. Thank you guys for having me. I think it's a huge deal. I view Bitcoin as the best expression of fiat debasement. What I mean by that is as nation states and central banks print more of their own currency and devalue it, like devaluing the US dollar, I think Bitcoin is the best expression of that. You can see that most in the rise of Bitcoin's price, and it's because of two things. It's the scarcest asset on the planet. You can't make any more of it. And it's one of the only asset classes in the world that demands energy to acquire it. And so those two things make it the best expression of what's increasingly the biggest problem that money managers have, which is how to take the other side of governments inevitably printing their way out of all this debt. And so the fact that Wall Street said, you know what, those hoodie coders over the last decade, boy, they got loud mouths like that Jack guy. But we got to get in on this too, because the government looks like they're going to stop QT and start QE, and we need to own an asset that protects us, and I think that's Bitcoin. So monumental day.
No, I would agree, because we haven't yet made the jump where there is institutional buy-in. And I like to use the example, if the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo needs to transfer $100 million worth of yen to the New York branch and convert it to dollars, you need $100 million worth of yen in Tokyo and $100 million worth of dollars in New York. You're tying up $200 million in capital. If you can attach that to a coin, it's simultaneously so the bank frees up half the capital. That's a big deal. But we haven't made that jump yet.
Yeah, but it looks like it's coming, doesn't it?
I think so. Okay.
I think that Gary, no, the guy knew it. I think
you're the first name basis with everything.
Chairman Gensler, I think, wanted everything to have a little better decorum. I don't think he liked the way it was just a train coming in and it couldn't be stopped. But there's just such broad support for it that even though he felt that there were a particular decision which said that these are securities, he was overridden by events. Even the CFTC in the end kind of was not against this. There was a belief that this would be done offshore if it was not done here, so why not have it here, probably better regulated. In the end, I'm saying it's a win because the people want it. I mean, I've got access to more retail investors than most people because I speak to them every day. Yep. Everyone wanted this because people didn't want to be in a situation where they had their money in some bank that just disappeared overnight.
So here's a 22-month high on the coin itself. Yeah. It needs to be held, right?
Yes.
So Kathy Woods on Squawk a few moments ago saying her base case for 2030 is $600K, and a bull case is $1.5 million.
Well, I mean, look, I wish I could get away with saying that stuff. I was once investigated on air because I said that Google was too low at 88. And they called me in and said, what, are you kidding? Of course, they did a 10-for-1 split, so it was really 8. It was a pretty good call by me. So I think you can always say that people are promotional. But I would say this. There is an odd love affair with something that flew in the face of what Jamie Dimon said, who's the most respected banker in America, and what the late Charlie Munger said. So the opponents of this, I think, were now being viewed as fuddy-duddies. And you don't want to be that. You want to be relevant, and the customers wanted these, and the customer is right, Jamie Dimon. I mean, one of the moments in my discussion with JP Morgan was like, I've been with you guys for 30 years, the customer's right. And they were like, well, then take your business elsewhere. That did not, the customer's so right, go to Fidelity.
Yes. So okay. Your point is the market is speaking.
Right. I mean, you want to override events, fine. You want to be a Luddite? You want to go smash the loom? Be my guest. I say, listen, let's accept the loom.
Are you going to tell subscribers and your retail followers to make this a piece?
We do have an annual meeting coming up. And I'm going to tell people, if they want to, here's the best way. And I'm not going to, certainly not fight it. I'm not going to do what Gensler said. I endorse the idea that there's this, because those who had their money in the National Bank of Sam Bankman-Fried are kind of like Jesse James robbed them. There's no Jesse James when it comes to the ETF.
Yes. We mentioned Kathy Wood on Squawk, talking about some very long-term price targets for ARK, at least. Here's what she said.
We believe that Bitcoin is a public good. It is what we have here, we believe, is a financial superhighway. It is the layer of the internet that developers did not build in the early 90s because no one ever foresaw commerce or financial services. a public good, and so we're not looking to maximize profits here.
Well, that's the idea of currency in the HOV lane. Let me tell you what I think the SEC really didn't like. If you look, we have all these other coins, and they were convinced that a lot of these coins are just phony and based on nothing. But now it's just game one for everything. You notice that Robinhood it has become the bank of choice for a lot of the cryptos, of which the SEC would tell you are based on nothing. And I think people are fine with Bitcoin. I think they're fine with Ethereum. But when you start going down the chain to the Belichick coin that will probably be issued at noon today, I just say, listen, let's be a little more circumspect.
Right. Are you prepared for or willing to watch the market get enthusiastic about at least this bucket?
It matters tremendously. I think there are very few sellers of anything right now. It's almost as if everyone's sold NVIDIA and they've already sold Microsoft. And the institutions, I think now, maybe they have to catch up and own this, because if you're JP Morgan, they're not telling people to go to Fidelity anymore. Look, I want to see what Larry Fink has to say about it tomorrow from BlackRock, because Larry is of the people. I mean, Larry is not going to stand in the way. Customers' right, by the way, with BlackRock. It's novel in our industry. The customer's right. And Larry Fink has pioneered that. I know that sounds almost facetious, but a lot of the institutions would not. This is a third rail that is no longer a third rail.
We're going to hear from them tomorrow. That's going to be
Rate cuts for the Fed this year, I mean 6, starting in March? I think you've lost your mind. You're not going to get 6 rate cuts when the teen retailers are printing money. And that's just what they're doing.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're in the Cash App. And don't forget we have futures tomorrow, and we also have BlackRock's Larry Fink speaking, because the big banks are doing earnings. Now we have the spot Bitcoin ETF trading, and that's a signal that the fourth industrial revolution is about to speed up. Don't forget, guys, the Fed spent trillions and trillions of dollars in order to bring in the robots, algorithms, and drones. And that's why I'm doing this video. Don't forget to watch the video I did last night with Kathy Wood saying the same thing I've been saying. But then also I'm going to bring you reality on how the machines are coming. Now we have Jack Mallers, the CEO of Strike, speaking about the central banks printing all this money, but he doesn't give the reason why. The only thing you have to do is go to all these big projects, and you see the same big banks and big corporations have been funding crypto from the beginning. And the reason why these small and medium-sized banks can't survive, because the fee-based system is out the window. Real-time settlement, freeing up trillions and trillions of dollars. And we know XRP, XLM, Bitcoin Lightning can move money in seconds. But when it comes to XRP and XLM, they can be used as bridge currencies and IOU. And guys, you know, I've done several videos on it. I think the video is probably over 80,000 views. But remember, the Crypto Teacher told you I was the first one to go over XRP in detail. Now we have Jim Cramer going over the spot Bitcoin ETF, saying that he is going to speak to his investors about the product. And then goes over Gary Gensler. And guys, we know this is nothing but the Hegelian dialectic. You have to have the two sides in order to move the masses over to the fourth industrial revolution. So you have to have a side against Bitcoin, and then you have to have a side for Bitcoin and crypto. But they know the real reason. Remember, crypto means hidden message, hidden meaning. These cryptos are for the machines. The robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. Now, Jim Cramer was correct about these altcoin meme coins. We have thousands of them. And we're only going to have 1% of the 1% that's going to survive. And we know the NWO picks the winners and losers. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we had Jim Cramer going over the Fed rate cuts, and we had CPI numbers today. And nobody cared about CPI today. Even though it came in high, Nobody cared because we had the spot Bitcoin ETF news. It drowned it out. But remember, guys, the reason why Jerome Powell stated he's going to be cutting rates because inflation is coming down. But it's not. So that means he's not going to be cutting rates. And because he stated he was going to be cutting rates, the bond market reacted. And it caused a lot of stocks to go up. And the Magnificent Seven just keep hitting new highs, which makes no sense. So we know that distraction is right around the corner. I'm going to get into that last. And we have the healthcare system about to be turned upside down. And guys, all of it's going to be moved to automation. And we know transhumanism is right around the corner. But first, they're going to automate everything. You'll be at home taking your own blood, giving your own self-injections that normally took hours inside of a hospital. And remember, guys, this technology is already sitting behind the curtain. I've done plenty of videos on it. Go to my short videos. And then we have AI is about to be embedded in everything. And we know, guys, when it comes to technology, it's going to be good and evil. And we know that dark AI is already there. You won't be able to tell what's real and not real. That is the goal, guys. That's the reason why they want to take this real world and put it into the virtual world, where absolutely nothing is real. Guys, we have the drums are beating. Now, we know Trump has been saying WW3 is around the corner, but we know this is all part of the plan. We know the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. And remember, the crypto teacher told you that they fund both sides because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
We learned there about the system and how we can change it, because I think you have of all the people I spoke to, I think you have the best breadth of what we can do to save this healthcare system.
You know, there's a big focus right now on efficiency, right? Hospitals, they feel the pressure of inflation, probably more so than many other industries, right? Inflation's particularly hit from a labor perspective. And if you go in a hospital, right, the costs of nurses, et cetera, are a big portion of their expenses. And so solutions that can help drive automation and efficiency, we see as a big need in helping to transform care. Also, at the same time, moving from high cost, high acuity settings like hospitals, being able to move more routine care into settings like in the home. And so we've been investing very heavily in areas like automation for the pharmacy, for the laboratory, informatics that help improve nursing productivity. We've recently got, for example, 510K clearance for a new way to collect your blood from your fingertip, not by a phlebotomist, but maybe by a clerk in a retail store and eventually by yourself in the home. We've been investing in point of care diagnostics to get things like rapid flu tests. Figure out if you have flu or COVID in 15 minutes rather than needing to go to a hospital. So we really see that shift of care moving in new ways, and it's going to take technology to help make that happen. Medicating yourself with injectables. There's whole new classes of drugs that offer tremendous promise as well for things like Alzheimer's disease or cancer. And they're going to be in different types of self-injection devices. For example, we have a wearable injector. Some of the new Alzheimer's drugs may take 15, 20 minutes to inject. So you're not going to hold something, but you're going to attach something to your body, and it's going to infuse that as you're going about your day. The same thing can happen for certain oncology treatments that will infuse you over hours potentially, again, as you go about your day. You can shower, you can do whatever. So that's going to require devices that we make and we're bringing to market.
On the flip side, certainly what it does is it allows the adversaries to democratize a lot of the bad things that they're doing. So if we think about some of the areas that we've called out, dark AI, the ability to have a generative AI technology without guardrails, right, that allows the democratization of these sort of esoteric techniques to many of the folks who don't have these skills, you're going to see more and more cybercrime, and you're going to see it happen quicker and quicker than it's ever happened before.
Crooked Joe Biden is not only dumb and incompetent, I believe that he has gone mad, a stark raving lunatic with his horrible and country-threatening environmental open borders and DOJ, FBI weaponization policies. He is a mental catastrophe that is leading our country to hell. We'll end up in World War III because of this man, and for no reason whatsoever. Thank you.
U.S. officials, they're saying that there have been joint U.S.-UK airstrikes against Houthi targets in Yemen. Remember, we talked about this just about 50 minutes ago on the show. There have been multiple attacks, 28 some attacks on shipping lanes from Houthi rebels, a massive attack on Tuesday that the U.S. and UK had to repel. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff talked to his British counterpart yesterday, and now some 24 hours later, we've got news of these attacks. We're still trying to figure out how many targets.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury